I'm Samantha and I work with the Brisbane office team, and so I'm based in Brisbane. I don't actually go into the office, I meet with some of the senior women in the Brisbane area. When our kids were smaller, we deliberately chose to go on a summer project. Andrew, my husband, had an office-based role at the time, and so we weren't closely connected with students, and we just thought it was a good way for us to reignite, I guess, our vision for student ministry and have a little bit more experience on the coal front working with students. And so we were involved for a few years going on summer projects. Then we had a little bit of a hiatus for a while, but I think realised that was really good for us personally, and it was also good for our kids, and we wanted our younger kids to have the chance to participate like our older ones had. So kind of put our hand up again, and it's always been we'll go wherever we can best be used. And so that's the last several years has meant 1 year in Sydney, 2 years in Fremantle, and 1 year in Townsville. Our kids have really enjoyed going and participating, and they have come out on some of the outreach sessions with us, and it's been really exciting as a mum to see them growing. So going from just coming along and listening to, what mum or dad or the student that they're with say, to actually starting to say a little bit themselves. And on the last project, I think Meg in particular, our 17-year-old, was quite confident going out as one of the experienced students, even though she's not a university student herself. So that's been really lovely for me as a parent to see them having the opportunity to grow spiritually by participating in ministry, and then also being around students who are wanting to share their faith. So people who are closer in age to them than their parents are, but who are wanting to walk well with God. And so that's really, those students make really good role models for my kids. And then another thing that's really hard to measure, but always seems to be a positive that comes out of it, is that the students who go are impacted by our family. So I guess that's one of the reasons that we go as well. Not to big note ourselves, but I think a lot of the students haven't necessarily seen a Christian family, and there's something about us going and them seeing us as a couple and the way we relate to our kids and our kids' growing faith that encourages the students, and probably just brings a dimension of fun that's different to what they would have had otherwise. And that was really exciting for us to see Cassie step into ministry when she got to uni. We were not wanting to push her to get involved in Empower to Change, but that was very encouraging for us that she'd obviously had a positive enough experience of it as a missionary kid that she was willing to get involved as a student. And I was really proud of her. She really stepped up in leadership, and particularly in her last year was putting a lot of hours in, and yet still maintaining her her commitment to her studies and her involvement in her church. And I think even more encouraging perhaps has been last year, when there weren't any really senior women on her campus after she'd graduated, that she was still involved in discipling some of those key student leaders. They didn't have a missionary to meet with them, and so she kind of stepped up and discipled those girls while she was a graduate herself. So that was really lovely to see that she was still being missional even when she was graduated, and it wasn't just part of being in that environment.